Hello, future millionaire. We are having another money talk. This one was requested by a viewer, Fast Eddie. So I figured I would do a video for Fast Eddie and others and just talk about my portfolio at a high level and kind of how I have it structured with my investments and kind of how I split things up. And none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a dude in my Jeep, right? I'm just a dude in my Jeep. So do your own research, make your own decisions, all that kind of stuff. The way I do things is going to be different than the way other people do things. So take it with a grain of salt. This is just my story. This is just how I set things up. So the question was basically, how much of my net worth do I have invested in stocks versus crypto, and how much do I have in savings, in case anything goes wrong. So I'll answer that really quickly. First of all, in savings, I usually keep, if I had to, my savings probably last, I have about a year's worth of expenses in my savings that I kind of leave there. And it's maybe a little bit more than a year's worth of actual necessary expenses, but maybe about a year's worth or so. I don't typically like to leave a whole lot in savings just because it doesn't yield me anything. It's nice to have it there. It's like I don't need to move money around. I don't need to sell something to take care of what I know my expenses are going to be in the next 9 to 12 months. So I keep that amount in savings. Now, granted, like I'm a super fortunate person. Like I've got my own business. I've got a steady stream of cash flow coming in. And so it's not a big deal for me to have 9 months or more of my expenses in savings. I know that's difficult for some people, but that's the way I have it. The vast bulk of my liquid net worth, and I do not count really the value of my business or the value of my homes in my net worth, because I think that's like a fake value. At least for my homes, because it's like I need someplace to live, or I only need one home to live in. But I think it's fake when people count their net worth including their home. It's like you got to live someplace. It's like that's like a fake measure of wealth when people include their home value and their net worth. And my business value, like the net worth of that, like I have no intention of selling it. I'll go down with the ship. Like it's my baby. Like I'm not going to sell it, so I don't count it as my net worth. But so when I talk about my net worth, I'm really talking about my liquid net worth, which is basically anything in cryptocurrency, anything in savings, anything in the stock market. That's what I consider my true net worth to be. What is actually liquid? Like what could I sell easily and not have an impact how I live, basically. So just a small percentage in savings. The vast bulk of 97% of my net worth is invested. So it's like, and of what's invested, about 20% or so, or maybe 25% is in stocks, dividend ETFs that bring me cash, that provide for passive cash flow, like I talked about in the previous video. The other 75% or so is in cryptocurrency. And most of what I have in cryptocurrency is in the Grayscale Trust, right through my brokerage accounts. Sitting right alongside my dividend ETFs and my dividend stocks is my BCHG and LTCN and GXLM. Those are the three crypto trusts that I invest in. Primarily, I've got a little bit in GBTC and ETH as well, but not very much. Not in comparison to a GXLM, LTCN, and BCHG, because I think those are going to do really well in comparison to Ethereum and Bitcoin. But that's kind of where I stand. Like most of, it's like I don't have, I think Fast Eddie had mentioned, sometimes, when people get older, they're more defensive and they want to have more in savings, which I agree. I can kind of see that. Like by the time I get to retirement age, which I'm not exactly sure what that means for me because I'm already kind of semi-retired. But at a certain age, what I will do is I will probably have 2 or 3 years worth of expenses in savings, not in, necessarily a savings account, but it might be sitting in my brokerage accounts, just like the result of dividends having been paid out and money is sitting there in my brokerage accounts, and I'll just leave it there probably. But I'll have probably 2 to 3 years worth, so I can ride out recessions and stuff like that and not have to sell assets. I don't intend to sell assets other than cryptocurrency, because the assets that I have other than cryptocurrency are the passive cash flow dividend ETFs and stocks, and I don't want to sell them ever because they're producing cash. Like I don't want to sell the golden goose, right? I don't want to destroy the machine that's making money for me. So that's kind of how I position myself. Now, gradually over time, my portfolio is going to change, to be a little less risky. So like right now, if it's 25% stock, 75% crypto, I'll probably reduce that over the years, where I get to a point eventually where it's like 80% stock and 20% crypto. So it's a little less risky. But that's probably, a couple years out. But I'll eventually slowly transition to that type of setup, and then I'll slowly also transition to having probably 2 or 3 years worth of expenses in my savings account or my brokerage accounts somewhere, cash that's sitting somewhere for me to use in the event I need it. It just feels good to have some cash. It feels good to have that there. That's why I like having that. But that's kind of it. So that's kind of the scoop with my portfolio, how I have it set up. I realize it's probably much more risky than a lot of people would prefer for their type of setup. Just the fact that I'm like 75% crypto is probably too much of a risk for most people. And 25% stocks is probably too conservative for most people. Most people want more stocks than crypto. But I'm the opposite right now. But eventually, like I said, that will change and change over the coming 10 years. I'll make that transition probably, where my primary goal is not, I don't worry so much about the percentage allocation to crypto and stock as I do about the amount of dividend stocks and dividend ETFs that I have that produce cash. So that's my biggest thing that I'll have. If I'm able to achieve all the cash flow that I'm looking for and then some from my dividend ETFs and stocks, I'll still continue to shore those up. But then the rest, like no matter what the percentage is, like with cryptocurrency being a portion of my portfolio, I'm okay with just risking that, letting that thing ride and do what it can do in the future. So once I've taken, like, for example, if I got to the point where it's like I was like 40% stocks and 60% crypto, if at that point that 40% of dividend stocks and ETFs, if they were to be providing for me the cash flow that I was looking for, then I'm not looking to necessarily increase them. I will slowly over time, but it's like I've already taken care of that. I've built that machine. I've got that cash flow coming in to me. So I don't really worry about too much about percentage allocation of things. I mean, there's a high level risk. If you look at from a macro level, there's the risk that cryptocurrency could get banned, which I don't think is a very high risk, but there's a potential for it. And that, and it's much more likely that cryptocurrency could get banned or heavily regulated than stocks. Stocks have already been regulated. It's a known factor. It's a known quantity. It's low risk from that perspective. Whereas cryptocurrency is higher, but I'm okay with that right now in my life, because I figure, like, even if crypto gets banned completely, like what if, like, let's say tomorrow they come out and they ban crypto completely and they wipe out the value of my Grayscale trust to zero. I would be quite sad and quite upset if that happened, but I could recover because I have passive cash flow coming in from my business. And this is like, it's just a measure of, I've structured my portfolio the way I have because I can recover it, because I do have cash flow coming from my business. Like, if I didn't have cash flow coming from my business and it was just me sitting, the cash flow had ended and I was just left with my stocks and crypto, then I might change up my game a little bit. I might change my strategy and I might say, well, I want more dividend stocks, which I still want more dividend stocks. Like, trust me, I want dividend stocks. I don't need them right now, but I know the value of producing cash flow. So it's like, I want those things, but I'm going to wait until after the crypto bull run where I sell a lot of my crypto and I rotate into dividend stocks to do that. All right. So hopefully this answered this question. Just to recap really quickly, I've got about 9 months or so of living expenses in my savings, and the rest is, just riding. It's like 97% of my liquid net worth is in stocks and crypto, and it's like probably 25% or 20% in stocks, 75 or 80% in crypto. That's kind of it. But that suits me well for right now. Anyway, hopefully that answered it. If you guys have questions, you want to know more, just leave a comment below. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.